Last June I made a long trip from Armenia to eastern Anatolia in Turkey. I wanted to understand what had happened 100 years ago when my family was deported from the ancient homeland during the First World War. It was a 2-week bus tour through about 30 cities and villages that were once populated by Armenians. Kars was our first stop. It's just 40 miles from the Armenian town of Gyumri, but the border is closed, so you have to drive there through the country of Georgia, a 300-mile detour. Kars was a medieval capital of an Armenian kingdom and populated by Armenians until the last century. This was once the Cathedral of Kars, also known as the Holy Apostles' Church, and it was safe only because it was converted into a mosque. A more precious monument barely survived. The roofless house across an iron bridge that once belonged to Yerishe Charenz, an eminent Armenian poet. Near Kars and right on the Armenian-Turkey border is Ani, which dates back to the 5th century. Ani was called the city of 1,000 churches. Now there are the ruins of about a dozen, among them the Gothic-style cathedral. The best preserved monument in Ani is the Church of Saint Gregory of Tigran-Honent, but the frescoes of Christian saints are scraped away. But the Church of the Holy Apostles is in ruins. If there's one symbol of Armenian-Turkey relations, it might be the destroyed bridge over Ahurian River, dividing Ani from Armenia. We then went to Van, once a thriving center of Armenian life, and now a mainly Kurdish city. From the height of the ancient fortress you see an empty zone, where Armenians once lived. Turkish authorities restored the Surpkhaj church on Ahtamar Island in Lake Van, but many frescoes are gone. These 11th century ruins were once the seat of the Archbishop of the Armenian Church in Van. The Turkish military destroyed it in 1915. Until a few years ago it served as a cattle barn for a local Kurdish family. But in the Erbekir, now a Kurdish town, we also saw signs of hope and maybe even reconciliation. One of the largest Armenian churches in the Middle East, St. Kyriakos, has been recently restored. St. Astvatsatin, the Armenian Mother Church in Antep, built by the famous architect Sarkis Palian, is also being restored, but as a mosque. It was like traveling through the time. Going deeper into Anatolia, we saw cities and fortresses that were lost long before 1915, such as the castle of Romkla on the Euphrates River, which served as the seat of an Armenian patriarch from the 12th century. In that same century, Armenian noblemen established the kingdom of Kilikia that controlled most of the coast between Asia Minor and the central Anatolian plateau, including Silivke with its castle. The Kilikian kingdom was known as Kingdom of Lesser Armenia, and the sea fortress of Korikos was a part of it. Up on the Mount Nemrut, we saw 2,000-year-old sculpture of the king of Comagene, wearing an Armenian tiara. Most of Armenian history lies in ruins. Even tombstones have been erased from view. This one was unearthed during the renovation of Malatya's Holy Trinity Church, abandoned in 1915. In Erzurum, the former headquarters of the Armenian Revolutionary Federation, a leading party that was struggling for the independence of the area before the deportations and massacres. My mother's family is from Erzurum. Out of a family of 40, only 3 survived. And finally the map of more than 3,000-mile journey. Our forefathers never got to visit these places in Merergir, our homeland. And I hope one day every Armenian will.